Okay, y'all, we are changing brakes on a 2012 Chevy Suburban. We're also checking for warped rotors without a dial indicator. So what you do is take the lug nuts, put them on backwards, do that. Then you will have a second person rotate this. You're just going to take a screwdriver, put it on that surface right there so it don't move. Move it in as far as you can, and you barely pull it out, have somebody rotate it. If they're warped decent enough, you're going to see a gap back and forth as the rotor's going that way and this way. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. Both these rotors are warped. This one's slightly less than the other. You got to have a 13. We're going to take off the caliper, and then we're going to take off, I call it a brake slide bracket, or brake caliper bracket, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to replace the rotors. They're under warranty. And we're going to replace the brake pads. They're under warranty too, even though they usually don't back it up, but they have to in this case because the rotors are warped, and I got to have new brake pads to put it on. Let's get this thing apart anyways. First thing we want to do is get both of our caliper bolts right there. Now you can put a wrench right here and lock it up whenever you retighten it. That's usually when I have the problems on it. Other than that, it's a 13 millimeter on the back side. Get both ends broke loose. As you see, we're going to need another wrench. So let's see what size that is. Let's go ahead and rearrange our stuff here so we can break it loose. Must have been where I did it last time. Once you get it break loose, you don't need that. Well, I didn't think you needed the bottom one anyways. Now you don't need it no more. So now we're going to do the bottom one. And of course it's going to be stuck too. So why is that wrench slipping? And of course, you start stripping it out because you got a cheap bench top wrench and I'm getting ready to throw in the garbage. So let's get another one. So what we got anyways is we have got a 6-point. Heck with the doggone 12 points, y'all. All that does is get you in trouble and strip stuff. So we got that on there. And of course, we're going to have to put a wrench on it. So there we go. We'll just do it that way. I like hitting it with the hammer. All right, bottom bolt is out. It's taking too long, y'all. Now we're heading for the top bolt. We should be able to just hold that with our finger, maybe. All right, now we got it. All right, so we are going to pull this off. One important thing is you need to make sure that your caliper right here goes in real easy. If it don't, you need to work it a little bit and see if there's an issue. If it don't go in easy, chances are you're going to need a caliper because it's trying to stick, okay? I'll show y'all all the parts whenever I put all this together, what I do and what I grease. Okay, also your brake pads, you want to feel those, make sure they slide real good, do as someone does. If they don't slide free like that, you're going to have a problem. You don't want them sticky. I mean, just barely touching it comes off, okay? So we got that. Look at that, brand new brake pads, and these rotors warped. I mean, I barely used those. Those weren't cheap either. This set was, I think, $250 for the back. That's with pads, I think $300 for the front. And we got some kind of a squeaking going on. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's creaking. And I think it's where this is hidden. Another thing you want to check is your slides. These right here. We're going to check all that here in a little bit. All right, now we're going to go into the inside. These are 18s. Back in there, you might be able to see them. Who knows? You can't see nothing in there. Either way, there's two. One at the top, one at the bottom. So we're going to knock off those so we can get the rotor off here. Better than beating up your hand, use a hammer. Man, those are stuck. Some stuff on those. All right, now we got all that off. We're gonna get the other side and we're gonna go get the parts. You're gonna want to remove your clips right here. That just keeps the brakes from making a bunch of noise and rattling and everything else, keeps them in place. And you want to clean all this. I usually clean it with a wire brush. If it ain't too bad, just, wire brush. And these, you want to wipe these down. These are your slide pins. You want to wipe these down and put new grease on them. and then slide them back in there every time you change the brakes. Now I use this right here. You just need to use some high temperature grease. This ain't a real high temperature. Once you get it all coated, nice and good, then you just gotta slide it on in there and you're good to go. I wipe off the excess and put it somewhere else, like on a paper towel. That way it don't get on your rotors or anything or whatever. Now I also like greasing this surface right here and right here. It keeps it from rusting underneath. The little rattle clips, I call them anyways. Once you get those greased, make sure all your excess is wiped off. Don't put a whole lot on there. It ain't like you're greasing a piece of machinery or something. You just want to lightly do it. Basically keep the rust down. Always make sure you install your clips brand new. You don't want to reuse the old ones, because if not, they'll cause them to squeak. Once you get both those installed, it's time to work on the rotor. Now you can put these on after you get this bolted up on the car, because they might fall off. Now they say you ain't got to clean these at all when they have the poly coating or whatever the heck it is on there. I'm going to clean them anyways. Just make sure there is no grease. But you don't have to clean this coating off, is what it says. So we're going to do that. Be sure to get your inside, doing it with a brake cleaner. Brake cleaner is what it's meant for, so that's why we're using it. Whew, that stuff's strong. Now you're going to want to make sure you clean this surface with a wire brush and this surface here. Now once you get that all clean, you want to spray it down with brake cleaner real good. Spray the inside too. Get all that nice and clean. All right, once you got that, wipe it down. Whatever's left, try to get it off there. Now, once you do that, I like taking a little bit of grease, put it on the inside, nice thin coat everywhere. That will keep all this from rusting. And it's also, whenever you clean it all, it keeps it from causing the rotor to act like it's warped. So y'all need to remember that. Put it around that surface too right there. Now once you get it all coated, I wipe off the excess just by running my finger across it. Get all the excess off that you can get, because you just want a thin coat on it. And that is it. Now we put on the rotor. Looks good, don't it? Brand new. After we put that on, now we're getting ready to put our bracket on. All right, now what we're gonna have to do is the bolts that hold it on. We're going to take some blue Loctite. Oh my God, I think I put way too much on there. Either way, that should be good. I didn't know it was going to pour out like that. Now, I usually don't use this blue Loctite, any Loctite at all on vehicles, but apparently Chevy recommends it on these, and I already lost one. After we get all the bolts threaded in there anyway, we're going to go ahead and torque these down to specs with this hammer. Looks like good spec rating, don't it? Always double check them. Now here's the thing. Most time you cannot get a torque wrench in there to actually get these down to specs. At least it's up on the lift. Well, most of us ain't got lifts. Now we're going to put our pads on. Now this is dummy proof. I don't know if y'all can read that, but it says inner. Now I got the more expensive pads. The cheaper ones will not say that. Watch this. That one says outer. Well, that is dummy proof is what I call that. This has a braking coating on it that I ain't used before. Well, I have on others, but not the whole brake pad. That one was kind of covered. So we're just going to put them in there. Make sure they can slide nice and easy like I showed you before. Slide right in and out. All right, now we're going to compress our caliper down. Now on this, I usually just use a C-clamp. Now you do have double pistons. It is nice to have something actually meant for it. Make sure these go in nice and easy. If they don't go in easy, because of your rusted C-clamp, then oil it. But pop your cap on your brake fluid too. That way you can see how much is in there and make sure it don't come out the top and get all over your vehicle. So as long as these go in easy, you're good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to clean up this surface right here. Don't bust the rubber right there. And we're going to clean up the area right there. We're just going to wire brush it real easy. Be careful on, like I said, on the rubber. That way you don't tear it up. Now I'm just going to take a little bit, well, as soon as I get it, a little bit of our brake parts lubricant. And I'm just going to put a little tiny bit. You ain't got to do this. I'm just putting it on there. This is aluminum calipers instead of metal, so you ain't got to worry about them rusting, but they do corrode. So just a nice little thin layer there is all I'm doing. And this part is metal, okay, that we're going to do here. Now, definitely recommend it on this part because you don't want it to rust. So that's what we're trying not to do. And it will wear off there, don't get me wrong, but it's okay. At least it'll sound good for the first maybe 5,000 miles. You can put a little bit around there if you want to help out your little seal right there. But now it's time to put this thing together. Pretty simple, y'all. Just push your slides over as far as they go. Put your pads on, or put your caliper on. Make sure your pads are all the way scooted in. Your little slides right there are a little bit, I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Let me lower that down. Your little slides there are a little bit of a pain every once in a while. So once you get that, now I'm gonna go ahead and put a little tiny bit of blue Loctite on these bolts too. It don't take a whole lot. Just a little drop or something. That's all we want on there. Move it around a little bit, wiggle it, get it started, and then we're going to get it torqued down. Little handy dandy hammer. That's probably as far as I want to take that one. The Loctite take care of it so we ain't got to over tighten these. See, that bottom one's moving, so what I need to do is take a wrench, put it right in there, and then we're going to hit it. Well, actually, where can I put that? I can put it right there. And it'll lock up against that caliper here in a minute. Now, another thing you want to do is you want to check, make sure your rotor can turn. Once you're aware it can turn, double check all your bolts on your caliper, bottom, your caliper bracket, double check those. Make sure everything's nice and loose, and you are good as long as that caliper ain't sticking. This one's kind of sticking because everything's grabbing. I can't really say it's sticking, but whoops, pause track kicked in, huh? Okay, it is time to put on the tire. Now, the bad news is, y'all got to do the other side too, but guess what? I'm going to do it. We ain't going to record it. So in this category, it is time to put on the tire. Okay, the lug nuts call for 110 to 120. I put them 130. I just feel better about it. Really don't want a wheel coming off on me. But anyways, y'all, that's going to be it. Y'all enjoy. Have a good day, and we will see y'all on the next one.